Hello and welcome to See You Live. I'm Susan Post, Associate Editor of Columbus Underground, and I have Columbus Underground co-founder Walker Evans with me today, and we are going to talk all things new restaurant, bar, and coffee shop in Columbus. So it's kind of hard to decide where to start because there have been so many new places that have opened. Just a list of some of the stuff in the last month or so. We've got Katzinger's in Dublin. Gamut opened its brewery in Old Town East. Hope I said that right. Shake Shack, now at Short North. Fireproof brought some tapas, fine dining to Short North also. Also have Seesaw, which says it is wood-fired modern American shareables. You also have Nosh downtown, the former Mojo Lounge space. Ruth's Chris, going to be opening soon, former Deepwood spot. And then Matt and Tony's Wood-Fired Kitchen is taking over the CBC spot down in the Brewery District. And I know there's more that opened earlier this summer.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot. It seemed like for a minute there, it was like every other day there was like a sneak preview or grand opening or friends and family night. Yeah, you were involved hands-on in a lot of those. So, earlier this summer, we have the Ampersand Asian Supper Club, also in the Short North, doing ramen. Among other things, speaking of ramen, also the Satori Ramen Bar inside the North Market. Fours on High, which replaced the old Barrel. CRMD, creamed. Get creamed. New ice cream shop in the Short North. The Old Spot in Grandview, kind of a sit-down restaurant there. And then the Canopy Hotel downtown, the new 12-story hotel on Nationwide Boulevard next to Jeff Ruby. They have a new kind of restaurant concept within the hotel as well.
There's going to be a rooftop bar, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
So, what have you tried? What are you excited to try? What looks good?
I haven't tried a ton of the places yet because we've been very busy lately. I also kind of like to wait for things to die down a little bit, you never get, unless, like Ruth Chris being a chain, they're probably going to be firing on all cylinders on opening night. But some of the smaller restaurants, you want to give them a fair shake and let them kind of work through some of the kinks that you have in the first month or so. No need to go and have a, subpar experience and then write them off as not being, what you thought they would be. So, I've been to Shake Shack in New York.
Shake Shack is a Shake Shack?
Yeah. But people are really excited about that. The first one opened in Easton not too long ago, and now the new one in the Short North. So, we'll make it in there.
The spot looks nice.
Yeah.
It's good to have another fast lunch option there, I'm sure.
Exactly, yeah. And I think that's going to be the time to go, on a Tuesday at 11:45.
Yeah.
You can probably get in and get out pretty easily.
I know. I personally am excited to go back to Gamut because I love breweries, love beer. It looks amazing. And I'm kind of obsessed with the stained glass windows that they did. They put so much thought into the stories behind them, and they have this whole booklet and goes with all their beers. Super cool. Also got to try some stuff at Fireproof when I did the first look and was thoroughly impressed with everything. Drinks were great, food was great. Maybe not my everyday kind of spot, but I could definitely see adding that to the nice occasion dinner rotation. Also kind of excited to try some of these concepts that are coming down from Cleveland, like Seesaw and Town Hall and some stuff like that. And speaking of Cleveland, we already share a lot of restaurants with Cincinnati. We've got a lot of overlap between Short North and over the Rhine, but I feel like we're kind of starting to see this new wave of restaurants specifically from Cleveland coming down to Columbus.
Right.
So what do you think about that?
Well, I know we've joked in the office that it's almost like an exchange program where, we trade,
I've got a running list
stores, bars, restaurants. And it's almost always, Short North to, Ohio City or over the Rhine, the cool neighborhoods trade the cool restaurants and bars. I think it's good. It's a natural, if you're a growing business and you're doing well in your city, it's a natural fit to just kind of jump to the next closest market, which would be kind of those two. We've seen some of the same sort of thing between Indianapolis and Pittsburgh and even Detroit to an extent. Places like Condado are opening pretty rapidly in those areas. Yeah.
Or Pins and 16-bit, they're kind of heading all over the place right now.
Right, and Ann and I were just in Cleveland 2 weekends ago, and we went to, for the first time, Mitchell's Ice Creams. They've got 7 or 8 of them in the Cleveland area, and I think that's it. They haven't expanded outside the city. but they opened a flagship location in Ohio City, right on the main strip there. I think it's 25th Street, in an old theater. So think of something like Studio 35 or the Grandview Theater, but turned into an ice cream production and shop facility, and it's super cool.
Pictures you showed me look awesome.
Yeah, and all I can think is like, when are they going to bring this to Columbus? Not that Jenny's isn't
more
great.
More ice cream.
Yeah, but I mean, we've got Graders from Cincinnati, and Jenny's is in the Cleveland market, so it seems like that could be something to watch out for. I could see them like doing really well here.
Maybe we need to send this to them and say, hey.
Yes, bring them.
Come on down, Mitchells.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Close to home too.
Yeah. So something you said, kind of these businesses doing well and expanding. So I used to do some of the social media for us, and it was always really interesting to see some of the comments sometimes when these restaurants would expand from another city, and people would kind of grumble, being like, this chain thing, and, want something original. But, to me, that kind of feels like, I want your restaurant to do well, but not so well. You can open another location and like, I don't know, shouldn't we be rooting for these small restaurants to succeed? I mean, I think it's great if these places are coming down. I mean, what do you think about or have to say about that?
I agree. I mean, I can understand kind of the two camps of thought. And we were just talking to somebody yesterday that was talking about a local bar that she really liked, and she was saying that, I can go in there and I can get service because there's hardly anybody in there. And it's like, well, don't you want to like have more people in there so they do well and they don't close? And she's like, no, let's keep it low key. And I'm like, I think they might disagree with you on that, but
I get that balance.
I think the thing about Columbus that's nice too is that because so many people come here from other cities, they move here from elsewhere, that whenever something like Taft's Brewing opening at Gravity, they have a really strong following in Cincinnati, and so everybody that knows them from there or that maybe grew up in Cincinnati and lives in Columbus, they're excited.
That's a great point. Sometimes there are equally as many comments like, oh, I miss this so much. I'm so excited to have it down here. So I'm excited about Taft's. I've been down there in Cincinnati and always had a good time. So looking forward to that one too.
Yeah.
So kind of thinking about this list of places that have opened and just kind of the dining scene in general, what types of restaurants are missing, or what do you want to see added?
That is a really great question. I think one of the things that people, who live in Columbus and know, and one of the things we are proud of are our, ethnic communities and a lot of the food around them. When Momogar came to the North Market from Saraga, like people were really excited that, not only was this small business thriving and showcasing a type of cuisine, because they're Nepalese, Nepal. It's kind of getting front and center stage being inside the North Market. It's going to get exposed to a lot of different people in a different way. And still currently, like if you want, Somali food or, any kind of thing that's kind of outside the norm, you've got to go out and seek it out. And it's usually like in a strip mall off Cleveland Avenue or, there's a lot of like Korean restaurants on Bethel Road or, wherever you have to go get that stuff. So I think maybe as some of the neighborhoods, the inner city neighborhoods begin to diversify, having more of those authentic experiences.
For sure.
Yeah. And we talk, a little bit, I think in a second about Dolce Vita, the Mexican ice cream store, which they've got a great shop out on the on West Broad. We've taken the kids; they love it. It's all kinds of crazy popsicles,
Paellitas?
All kinds of stuff. Yeah, but also like really weird things too. Like you can combine, Red Bull and ice cream and make floats and stuff. So it's all this.
Sounds like your dream there. No.
Yes, that's not what I'm drinking right here. But homemade pistachio like milk popsicles, like really cool stuff, and they're opening in the Short North. Yeah. And so I think that's going to expose what they offer to a different audience that might not be used to that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think people are excited for that, and then it also made me think Hoyo's Kitchen just opened within North Market as well. So that's Somali food primarily, I believe.
I think you're right.
North African. Yeah, and so that's nice to kind of see some more diversity going on with the vendors in there, and then also made me think that. Kind of looking at some stuff that's going to open over the next couple months. Rue is coming to Short North, which more about that soon. But they're Indian and kind of more upscale Indian. So I'm kind of excited to see how that, brings some diversity to the neighborhood, because there's a lot of more American style restaurants throughout Short North. So I think that'll be a good addition. But I mean, there's all kinds of other stuff that's coming too. like we got Whistle and Keg going in the Arena District.
Yep.
As we mentioned earlier, Canopy Hotel is adding a rooftop bar. Natalie's Coal Fire Pizza is expanding to Grandview 5th by Northwest. You mentioned Dolce Vita. And then 800 North High is where a couple of those other concepts from Cleveland are going. We're going to have a town hall and another rooftop concept. And then you've got Urban Meyer's Pint House going all the way up to Bridge Park. So this is kind of, there's stuff going in all over the place.
Yeah.
So thinking about that group, what stands out? What are you excited to try?
Out of that set?
Yeah.
Town Hall, I think a lot of people are really buzzing about that. I've not been there. We went right by it in Cleveland when we were up there 2 weeks ago, but didn't stop. So I'm excited to try that out. What I've read about the Roo place, if that's how you pronounce it, ROOH.
That is how we pronounce it.
Roo. It sounds like they have a really strong following. They have one in San Francisco and then one in India, actually.
Okay.
I think. So there was one that was overseas, and it sounds like from a culinary perspective, it's very elevated.
Yeah.
As far as that stuff goes. So interested to try that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like I said, rooftop bars, people love those. People get jazzed about that. I'm sure Urban Meyer's Pint House will be fun place to watch a game during football season if you're into that.
Yeah.
So more info coming soon.
Right.
So kind of thinking about all of these places that we've named so far, saw some trends that were going on and just kind of want to rapid fire go over these and see what you think. So we got a couple that mentioned wood-fired, specifically in their name. I feel like that's not typically something you see a lot of. I mean, what do you think? What does that mean?
I think it means you have a wood-fired oven in your kitchen, like one of the big...
that makes me think of pizza, but a lot of these places I think are expanding outside of just pizza.
Yeah, you can cook just about anything with it. I think you commonly see it on display in a pizza place. And I want to say Forno, when you walk in, they have theirs there, and they do cook their pizzas in it, but I think they do some of the other, maybe a chicken dish in there as well. I mean, if they're calling themselves wood-fired and they don't have a wood-fired oven, then I think there's a problem.
There's a problem.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's a cool trend just because it gives things a different...
something different.
Yeah. And then Natalie's is coal-fired.
Right.
I think they're the only place that does that. Which,
they're
but they have the big live music component as well at the original location. That's a big hit.
Yeah,
big
which
draw.
Exciting for them because I know that see online that their shows are sold out all the time. So excited for them to expand and have some more room and another venue and
more live music.
Yeah, and their food's great too. Got some new ramen joints. I feel like that, there's a trend there for a minute of a lot of ramen places a couple years ago, and that seems to be kind of coming back.
Yeah.
Getting more of those. A lot of tapas, a lot of shareables.
Which was also, I feel like that was a trend maybe late 90s, early 2000s when every restaurant, it was around the same time the bistro trend hit, where every restaurant had to be a bistro, it couldn't be a restaurant anymore. So interesting to see that kind of coming back. I like that idea of being able to go somewhere and try a bunch of things, and share them and everything. So I've not been in, but I went by it when they were doing their friends and family night, and it was jam packed. So
where did you go by?
Nosh. Sorry. Yeah. I think that's the main tapas place that we were in the list earlier. And hopefully they can bring a little bit of vitality to that intersection downtown. That stretch kind of south of the State House on High Street has some real activity in places like Condado, but some of the other more fine dining restaurants have kind of struggled in that area.
Right, yeah, and they're in the Lazarus building, so right there, bringing some life back to that.
Yeah.
Mentioned both these, you got a lot of ice cream coming to Short North because not only do you have Jenny's, but you're gonna have Dolce Vita and already have creamed. So
and Simply Rolled.
Yep. Good point. Yep. So I mean, I feel like a few years ago there weren't a lot of just dessert options in Short North. And I guess you have Sweetwater's also.
Yeah.
So more ice cream, more sweets. Lots of places to get dessert in Short North now. And kind of looking at overall trends for a while there, we had a lot of fast casual or more kind of casual bar places that seem to be popping up. And if you look at this list, you're getting a lot more kind of sit down, enjoy your meal kind of situations. And, I know we've written some articles before, heard some restaurateurs say fine dining is dead. What do you think? Do you think it's actually dead, or do you think it's, kind of more about the concept and kind of knowing where to put your restaurant?
I mean, I think it's evolving, and I think, for younger people, the trend, and this isn't just Columbus, it's all over the place, is to gravitate toward an experience. It's still about the food. People want, quality food for a decent price, but I think if you can have a fun dining experience at a food truck at a bar, then people are going to go for that type of experience versus going to maybe where they would have went to like a sit down restaurant, for different similar type of food but maybe different kind of experience. So I don't think it's dead. And Cameron Mitchell's opening higher end dining. I don't know if you call it fine dining, but it's still accessible. Like Del Mar, which opened not too long ago. We went there in May for the first time. And you don't feel out of place in jeans in there, but it still feels like a really nice, nice experience and high quality food.
So seeing some more kind of middle of the road, kind of where casual but still has very high quality food.
Yeah. I mean, I think for people, if we want to talk about like millennials, in general, or someone where you don't have endless money to go out all the time, you're going to save for the special occasion and go to a nicer restaurant. And then, the day-to-day is going to be the more approachable, easy, cheaper, maybe not always fast casual, but I think that middle restaurant, that like mid to high fine dining is where there's a bit of a pinch.
Yeah. Well, that makes me think Tony and Matt's Wood-Fired Grill specifically, or Matt and Tony's, I think I reversed those.
Matt and Tony.
Matt and Tony.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt and Tony. They made a point of saying specifically we want to keep a lot of our entrees really affordable because we don't, want people to have to spend all this money to have a really great dining experience.
Yeah.
So, great. So we talked about food, but there is a lot of good news for coffee fans as well. First of all, Columbus Coffee Festival is at the end of the month. Tell us a little bit about that.
This is the 4th year for the Columbus Coffee Festival. Columbus Underground started it 4 years ago as kind of an experiential event to showcase what a lot of our cool local roasters are doing and let coffee fans come and sample all of them kind of in a fun setting.
With these snazzy mugs.
Yeah. So everyone that comes in gets a mug. We have some other like artisan mugs that will be for sale. There's all kinds of experiences we're adding this year, from the pop-up cat cafe to axe throwing. I know we have a whole video, and we'll link to it. Yep. So you can watch that, where Susan talks with Megan about the entire festival for 15 minutes. I don't want to go too far into that, but I am excited that even though it's the Columbus Coffee Festival, it's grown a little bit more and more each year. So we have roasters coming from Indianapolis, Toledo, Cleveland, Akron, Cincinnati. So we're going to keep growing that over the years, and so maybe make it a little more Midwest in its footprint, but really, making a cool time for people here in Columbus.
Awesome. Personally, I'm super excited. Can never have enough coffee. But if you need a caffeine fix before then, here's just kind of a rundown of what's going on in the world of coffee in Columbus. I mean, Brioso's moving across the street. 2 new locations. So.
And that's their original downtown, like Gay and High.
The one at Gay and High.
Yeah.
So there'll be Caddy Corner in the Citizens Building. Poindexter Coffee just opened at the Graduate in Short North. Crimson Cup headed for the Easton expansion. Stoff's just opened in Victorian Village. You've got a brewery/coffee shop going into the former home of Clintonville Outfitters. Roosevelt opened at Gravity in Franklinton. Some rumblings of some other coffee shops expanding. So you've really got a lot of caffeine going on all over the place. I know you specifically, though, went to Stoff's. So tell us a little bit about that new location.
Yeah, I popped in to grab some photos right when they opened last week. And similar to Gamut in Old Town East, there's a lot of stained glass in there. It's in a former church building on Neal Avenue around like Neal and 6th. Really cool space. I think one of the nice things about Stoff's is that every location feels a little bit different.
Right.
The German Village location's a little smaller and intimate. The View on Grant location's a little more industrial, kind of warehousey. So this one is very, high ceilings. They took a couple of the panes of stained glass out of the wall so they could let in natural light, and then repurposed that into like a ceiling structure.
Nice.
So it's like almost like a stained glass chandelier, because they needed more natural light coming in, and we're able to kind of do some different things like that. So it's really cool. It's worth checking out.
I'm super excited to check that out.
Yeah.
It looks amazing from the photos. So definitely going to be checking that one out. I'm excited for Brioso. Love our Brioso. We're actually just right across the street, so frequently drinking their coffee. Also spent a day working at Roosevelt at Gravity and really like that. And it's been cool to see their Long Street location do so well. So hope the same for that spot.
Yeah, show them some love, because as soon as they opened, the city started doing a lot of road utility sidewalk work, and so they've had to deal with some sidewalk issues, just closures, and it's kind of tough to navigate through. But I mean, I think they're doing fine. Every business
in Short North sympathizes
with
them.
Sure, yeah. So definitely go check them out, and it's just a cool space.
Great. Awesome. Well, I'm sure we, could be doing this show again in a couple months with all the new stuff that's going on. But yeah, we want to hear from you. Comment, tell us a little bit about what you're excited to try and what you think is a great addition to the dining scene in Columbus.